Hello and welcome to another Things That Spark Joy video. So this is a follow-on from previous week's video where I showed some items related to a recent trip to the UK. One of the things that I picked up was these GCSE OCR computer science revision question cards. And no doubt people have seen these before. I know most of the viewers of my channel aren't necessarily based in the UK, but I'm sure you've come across these in some form. Obviously the advantage with these is it means you don't have to create your own ones, although there are learning reasons why you might want to create your own revision cards for a subject, but this makes life a bit easier. So what I thought I'd do is I'd basically do an unboxing stroke flip through video for these so you can see exactly what they're like if it's something you're not familiar with. I'm not going to flip through all the cards. It's not quite the same as flipping through, say, a deck of Magic the Gathering artwork, but I just wanted to flip through a sufficient number so you could get a feel for the format, how the colour coding might work, those sort of things. So I'm pretty interested to open this, having studied computer science at, well, back then it would have been CSE actually, this was pre-GCSE, and I think back then most of the stuff, the revision stuff that we had, there were revision aids around about that, but a lot of them were booklets actually. I remember the nice thing about the UK, and I think I mentioned this in a previous video maybe, is the qualifications are standardized. There's not that many awarding bodies for 16, the exams that happen at 16 and then the ones that happen at 18, so it's really easy for companies to produce standardized revision material. The OCR refers to the awarding body for this particular thing. I think the awarding bodies for GCSE is OCR, and I think it's something like EdXL. I might have got the name wrong. I'm not super familiar with the qualifications anymore. So let's just reorientate this for the cards, just so you can see, and I'll flick through some and then I'll reposition them and just see if there's some sort of colour coding going on here. Oh look, there we go. I should have flipped over the back one here. So there's the topics area here in red. Topics match CGP's book. So CGP are a publishing company. They publish revision books and various other things to do with curricula in the UK. Quick questions to start over here, and then move on to harder questions. Okay. Oh, and then that must be the flip side. Complete answers to each question and handy tips on every card. So let's just look at this first one. Pick out the pieces of hardware from the following list: graphics card, operating system, optical drive, internet browser. Well, I think we know what that is. So graphics card, optical drive. True or false? All hardware is found inside the computer. I would say that's false, because of course you've got things like external peripherals. So yeah. And 3. Is a toaster an example of an embedded or non-embedded system? Okay. I'm not sure on that. Depends what sort of toaster it is, I suppose. Now try these. Explain the difference between software and hardware. Suggests why smartphones would be considered general purpose systems rather than dedicated systems. Explains why devices like DVD players use embedded systems. And a group of scientists are sending a lunar rover to the moon in search of cheese. They are deciding whether to fit their rover with only embedded systems or general purpose systems. Give a reason for each type of system. Okay, it's very topical. So if we flip over, okay, here we go, embedded. Okay, so that's interesting. So embedded in the context here, that's only one specific task that a toaster is able to do. So it is embedded. Fair enough. I was thinking of embedded software. So like maybe a toaster that had, Wi-Fi access on it, or could order more toast. Then it could order more toast or some more bread when it realised you were getting low. Wouldn't that be cool? Yeah. So it goes on and answers. This is. Oh, there's a tip there as well. Oh, I do like these. I'm getting quite excited about these cards. So a quick flip through. You can see same here. So you've got your questions on the other side. You've got your answers, and then a tip. So I'm interested in whether, I don't think the colour coding beyond making the quick questions box look interesting by changing the colours. I don't think this changes. That's interesting. Okay, so yeah, I can see now. I don't know if you spotted that yourselves. So yeah, clearly the top colour. I imagine then these probably map back to the course specification. So here's another cool thing about O-levels, GCSEs, A-levels in the UK. You can go onto the awarding body's website and actually download the course specifications. Most of them have them in PDF format. And so you can actually see, and you can map back if you're really like into real managing revision in a structured way. You can map like outcomes to sections of the course. Now the interesting thing was, when I was teaching at college, I didn't teach GCSE or A-level. The majority of the teaching I was done was to adults, although I did teach well, I suppose they're still adults. I did teach some post-16 students in IT. I think the course was what's called CLATE. CLATE course. But where I'm going with this is that when I used to do my lesson booklet, so I used to write a course booklet for my students. It's something I did from day one, because I had a real hard time studying. I find it really difficult to remember things, and I always, if I ever got into teaching, always wanted to write course booklets. So I wrote a course booklet for my management information systems course and my information management and project management courses, and I used to map all of the outcomes to the sections of the course booklet and to the answers on the final exams as well, because all the students used to have to take a written test, as well as submit you might want to call it a project. It was more, there was an actual exam on the second year course for the business course I was actually teaching on, but there was also coursework as well. But I think by the time I finished teaching, there was only coursework on the first year course. But for the course booklets, I'd always map all the outcomes through the course materials to the questions on the exam. So that way I knew I wasn't requiring anything from anybody that wasn't covered in the lessons. So just quickly flicking through these. Looks like I'm going to flick through all of them, but not spend any time on them. Yeah. I used to quite enjoy creating lessons, and I used to have to write things like lesson plans as well and stuff like that. And I'd map those back to the course materials as well. So. I think I got the idea from the mapping thing. I mainly got the idea from looking at City and Guild's material. and I've always found their course specifications to be fantastic in that respect, in terms of mapping everything, the outcomes to questions and stuff that you're going to be tested on. And we finish up with IDEs. Section 7, design, testing and IDEs. Okay. What are integrated development environments? Okay. Which of these features is the code editor in an IDE not likely to include? Autocorrect, auto-translate, autocomplete. Okay. What is a run? That's rather topical at the moment. Autocomplete. Things like Copilot. What is a runtime environment? I think I might need to go back to school actually. Explain the benefits of using error diagnostic tools in an IDE. Breakpoints are a common error diagnostic tool in IDE. Explain what breakpoints do. I can remember the days. This is funny. That makes me think of doing dry runs. I don't even know if people know what dry runs are now. But yeah, I can remember sitting down before I sent my coding sheets off to some big mainframe at the school, what is called in North America the school board. I'm not sure what they call it in the UK actually, but basically it would have been the school's the region's accounting mainframe, I suppose, where we were using downtime, and we'd fill in these coding sheets. But you always used to have to write like a flow chart and do a flow chart and do a dry run. So yeah, it's rather nice now that all that stuff can be done within the IDE with breakpoints and checking what your variables are doing and things like that. The code on the right is being typed into an IDE. Suggests 2 ways in which a code editor might automatically format the code. I'm trying to look to see what that's in. What are we looking at here? Oh yeah, we've got going to have some indentation going on there because of the if statement. And some, yeah, I suppose some indentation because of the procedure as well. Interesting. Oh. I was expecting it to say 2 different things there. It's 2 of the same. It's both to do with indents. So, oh no, yeah, sorry. Yeah, color coding, of course. Yeah, color code the parameters. Yeah. Oh, I think I'm going to have to play with these. I mean, that's why I bought it. I thought it'd be really interesting to go through, and I know my memories are going to be really not good about something I necessarily covered in the 70s, and then obviously subsequently I've gone on to do higher qualifications in other domains under allied with computer science or under the banner of computer science. But yeah, it's always fun to test your basic knowledge because you tend to just internalize a lot of this stuff and don't really think critically about this. Like, why would I even think about what my IDE is doing? It just gets on and does it. But it's pretty cool to revisit some of this stuff. So thanks once again for watching. Hopefully you've enjoyed this unboxing and flip through. I know I have. It's made me smile, as you can probably hear. Bye for now, and I will catch you in the next episode.